Hey guys, my name is Jose, and in this video, we're going to cover how I became a full-time wedding photographer, as well as give you some tips on how you guys can get there too. But first, a little bit about me. My name is Jose Negrete. I'm a full-time Dallas-based wedding photographer, and I've been doing this for 5 years. Over the past 5 years, I've shot 170, 180 something weddings, and man, I've seen it all. I've seen it from backyard elopements to multi-million dollar events. I mean, you name it, I've probably seen it. Now, there's a lot that I want to go over today, but for you to first understand where I'm coming from and how I got here, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about kind of my journey and how I got started into doing wedding photography. So, for those of you wondering, I didn't go to school for this. I actually studied music in college. I did my 4 years at UNT studying music performance, got my bachelor's degree in that. But during my time doing music, I needed some extra income, right? I was still learning as a musician and I would work during the week, but my weekends were always free. And so I was like, look, what if I do some stuff during the weekend? At the time, I had a camera and I was really like a very amateur hobbyist photographer, but I was very adamant and I loved taking photos. And I joined Facebook groups to kind of see if there was work or any tips for photography. And one day, I saw a post from this one lady that was saying, hey, I need a second shooter. I would love for you guys to send in your resumes or portfolios, and I'd love to talk. At the time, I didn't really have a portfolio. I mean, I had a few headshots for friends, but outside of that, I had a Sony a6000. That was my starter camera. I had my kit lens, and then at some point, like a vintage film lens, and that was like all I had. But yeah, I said screw it, and I sent in my portfolio, and then one day I got a call. And so in the call, it very much was an interview, right? This lady who would end up becoming my lead and who would hire me for all these events asked me, if I was free on the weekend and so on my gear list. And then from there, she liked my vibe, and I, for the next 3.5 years, shot exclusively with her for wedding photography. Now, my situation was very, very unique than most in that I was new to the industry. I mean, I never had even been to a wedding before I shot with her. And so it was interesting that, like, for example, in her first wedding, she tells me, like, hey, can you make sure that the groomsmen have their boutonnieres? I go, yeah, absolutely. And she leaves, and I pull out my phone, and I'm like, what the heck is a boutonniere? Because I had never been to a wedding. I don't know what all the words are and the terminology. Didn't know, is ceremony before or after reception? Like, how does all that work? And throughout the day, it was still equally a mess. That first wedding, man, like, I shot the groom's portraits in broad daylight. I mean, I had weird poses during reception. I don't know where to be. Same thing with ceremony. It was funny. The officiant for that wedding made an announcement, which is pretty standard, which is, hey, silence all cell phones, and please no photography during the ceremony. And I'm standing there like, does that mean me? Like, me too? Like, but I'm hired to be here, so do I still take photos? And I still did, but I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. And so everything, that's tip number one, is everything is going to be brand new. There's a certain way weddings are done. There's, brand new things to learn every single time you shoot a wedding. And so if you want to get started, you're going to have to learn. Like, you're going to have to go and make mistakes and learn from them, because that's what I did. Over 3.5 years shooting with my previous lead, I mean, I messed up a lot. But because she wanted to train me, I could make mistakes and I would still have work. And believe me, I made so much mistakes. And more so because this person has very, very high standards, which is good. I mean, when you're charging 4, sometimes 5 figures, you want your work to be exceptional. You want it to be perfect because your name is on that product. And so it ended up being a relationship where, yes, I always had work. It was every weekend, every other weekend, is big mammoth weddings. We're talking, yeah, like I mentioned, $100,000, $250,000, multi-million. The biggest one we did was $3.5 million that the couple spent that day. And so the stakes are high, and she wants to make sure that the product looks good. So, a lot of the times after these weddings, she'd send me some photos that I took, and she said, hey, let's jump into a call. This is what you need to fix. Now, the downside of always having work and getting to improve was that, to be honest with you, I wasn't really paid that well. I mean, from usual standards nowadays, where for second shooters will get, let's say, $40, $50 on average for an hour, I was just paid a day rate that was half of that, if that. And so I would work 12, 14-hour days sometimes, and I would not get paid nearly that rate. But I always had work. And so that's kind of another point to kind of think about, not really a tip, but a point of contention that some people don't realize is, we pay to go to college for some careers to study and to learn. We pay those people money to learn. But why is it for other career paths like photography, for the arts, that we automatically assume, oh no, we should get paid the normal rate? No, you're learning. Like, you're learning. And so that's the issue when new photographers come to me and they want to get paid a regular rate. Yeah, I would love to. I'm not going to, not pay you a good rate, but why should I hire you versus someone who's a professional that I could pay the same rate? So, if you want to learn, in my opinion, you have to take the pay cut. You have to do some for free, because I did so many photo shoots for free. I shot weddings for cheap. Like, I've shot one wedding for free, but those were the first under my own name, under my own company. And so I needed stuff in my portfolio. And so I justified those 3.5 years, and I would get raises, slowly, but because I knew that I could make mistakes and still learn, and I would still make money. You're not making money in college. You're losing money because you're going to classes. It's like if I was going to class, right, but I was still making money. And so I learned a lot, like so much in those 3.5 years. And I see it as a great thing that, yes, even though I was underpaid, I mean, I saw things that other photographers that have been doing this for 10 years, 15 years hadn't. And I've been only doing it for 3. And so that was a really great experience for me. But as I started being more comfortable and really wanted to start my own career, there was a small issue. The issue was that, and this is common through a lot of like high-end photographers or old school photographers, is that I was not allowed to use any of the photos that I took for my own portfolio, because I'm working under someone else's dime, right? Like, these are not my photos. 80 something weddings, and really the only thing I had to show for it was like Instagram stories of me at these big weddings, but I never had any proof outside of that, so whenever a couple would ask me, hey, like, let me see your portfolio, I had nothing. I had nothing at all. So it's interesting because the first wedding I actually shot was my mom getting remarried. And so for me, that was the start of my portfolio. And that portfolio is what got me my next job, which is currently my main source of income. I ended up networking with another videographer, and because I had that videography experience, I shot with him for a few weddings. And during the last wedding that I had with him, I met this other lady that completely changed my life. So at this other wedding that I was at, I was talking to the photographers, because remember, I was a videographer at that other wedding, and I was saying, yeah, don't worry, I'll stay out of your way. I'm a photographer, so-and-so. She goes, oh, you do photography? Yeah, I shoot for so-and-so. Oh, like, she knows the name because it's a big name in the industry. And she goes, oh, well, do you want to work? Do you ever lead? And I go, no, I only second shoot. I always assist. I'm never a lead photographer. And she's like, well, would you like to? I go, I mean, yeah, I'd like to. And she goes, yeah, but like, would you like to? I'm offering you a job. And so from there, I was like, oh my God, like, okay, yeah, absolutely. And so I sent over my portfolio. And so this lady currently has a company, but at the moment she was kind of building it and starting it, where she's not a preferred vendor at some of these venues. She is partnered with them, where the venue can offer packages that says, hey, for one invoice, you can get photo, you can get video, you can get not only that, but for other vendors, floral, catering, DJ services. You want someone to marry you, an officiant, you want an exit vehicle for the end. All these services being in-house, and she needed people on that team to cover all these weddings. And so I went, yeah, like, I will absolutely take that job. And so in 2023, I started in late February. After that, in that span, I shot 60 weddings. And I mean, it felt great because it wasn't just, oh, I was the second and I'm just with the groom and I'm just helping. Like, I was leading and I was doing my own events as I was learning. And on top of that, the pay was much better. It was much more accurate for what I should have been getting paid. But by then I had experience. And on top of that, I could use the photos in my own portfolio. So about 95% of the work in my portfolio is weddings I've shot through this company, which for me is huge. Like, I now had, in the course of a year, 60 different examples of, look, this is what my work looks like. This is how I operate. Like, here are my photos. You can finally see them. And so fast forward to 2024. This is the first year that I've booked weddings through my own company, that I really decided to let me brand my website with just wedding photography. Let me really push to being a wedding photographer. And this year alone, I have 10 weddings already booked in reserved and dates already locked in, and I'm hoping to get 20 by the end of the year. So we'll watch this video back in 2024 and we'll see how this goes. But yeah, like in the past year alone, like I've made way more money than I ever have in the history of my life, and it's all through networking. It's all through having a good work ethic. And so that's another tip I have for you is wedding photography is not just about your skills behind the camera, but in front of people. How can you connect with them? Can you make them feel relaxed? I mean, think about it. Especially me, like as a guy, I enter a room for the bride's getting ready room, her suite, and I'm the only guy in a room full of women. Like these women don't feel comfortable around me. Like they don't. Some random guy stranger with like a camera. Like who is this? And so I got to be able to enter a room full of strangers, bridesmaids, groomsmen, family, whoever, and I got to make them feel comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, you'll see it. You'll see it through the photos. And so by being able to connect with these people, I mean, that is a skill in itself, and it's really, really helped my work be as best as it can. And then on top of that, you know, as I was a musician in college, I learned that critique is everything. I mean, like, I really would sit down every few months and look at my work and be like, okay, what am I really royally screwing up? What can I definitely improve? And what sucks and what doesn't, and what's working out for me. I would look through photos of other photographers too, you know, and see, okay, this photo is great. Like, let's look at this pose, or let's look at this style. Oh, this lighting trick looks decent. And on top of that, most of my income from previous, you know, in 2023 was to reinvest into my business. And so that's another tip is you get what you put in, right? If you put in the time, you will get skills. But if you put in the money, it will make your life easier. All this amazing technology that has come out, like it makes your life easier. And I'm not saying gear makes the photographer. It doesn't, because I was still shooting these multi-million-dollar weddings with an A7 II, like a crappy camera. But then I was like, look, but I'm getting limited by my gear. I have all this creative potential building up, but my camera just can't keep up. So what do? Well, it's upgrade. And so that's another tip is consider putting some money in, sometimes more than you would like to. You know, gear really does matter. Buy stuff that you need, buy stuff you think you'll use, or buy stuff that will make your life easier. And of course, if it isn't obvious already, networking. I mean, we hear it all the time, like network. What does that mean? Just talk to people and let them know you're a professional and act professionally, and doors will open for you. And that's not just with other photographers, but every vendor, from your coffee cart people to your DJs to your wedding planners. Wedding planners are the people that tell couples, hey, pick this person, pick that person. They're the ones that reach out to you. Hey, are you available this date? Like, wedding planners are your priority. I always make sure that everyone I meet, that I take care of, not just my couple, not just bride and groom, but my DJs. If they need me to bring bride and groom over for a bouquet toss, and yeah, I'll go grab them. Hey, the planner needs the couple to be done in 5 minutes for photos. Absolutely. You need to open those doors for grand exit. I get it. Even catering. Hey, can I grab some food pictures so I can have some stuff to show for my company? Absolutely. Whatever you need. You know, everyone's got a business. Everyone needs promotional material, and you're the guy to give it to them. So when they're posting this stuff on Instagram, social media, or when they're thinking, man, who can I get for this event that not only is going to take great photos, but is fun to work with? You know, it doesn't matter if you're some amazing photographer, but everyone hates you. They're not going to want to be with you on a stressful day for 8 hours straight, 12 hours straight, because that's just not how it works. They will find someone that might be slightly worse at photography, but much easier to work with, because it'll make their life so much stress-free and just much easier to deal with on wedding day. So, you know, don't be rude to these people. Like, go out of your way to help them out, but also balance that with not jeopardizing your own work. And so lastly, if I had to sum all this up into the most important thing that I could give you for advice is be lucky, be lucky and roll with it. You don't understand how many opportunities you were given, whether it's like I mentioned through talking to people and networking, or just shooting in these places. You never know when a couple is going to ask in the future, hey, have you ever shot at so-and-so? Oh yeah, I have the wedding in my portfolio. Here's exactly what this looks like in this venue. Here's my shooting style. Like, every inquiry you get, any conversation, like, take it whenever you can and roll with it. I met 2 people, and that is what made my career. Like now it's up from here. And that's all it took. And now I understand that my situation is very, very rare. It's rare that you'll find, like when I initially started, a lead photographer that'll keep you there and to train you even though you mess up. It's also rare to find someone that's running a massive photography company that gives you consistent work. But as soon as I noticed it, I jumped on it. And so look for these opportunities and build these relationships, because they will help you. I promise. It doesn't hurt you. Like it doesn't hurt to talk to these people and be friendly with them. You're making the world a better place. And who knows, in 1 week, in 3 months, or in 5 years, you might get a call and say, hey, are you available to work this day, or available to do this for me? And for me, that's really important. You know, even if it's just to build these relationships just solely so I can have more friends and to know people, I don't mind it. And so a lot of photographers will sit there in the corner during reception and not talk to people. Or dude, I get there like 30 minutes early and I just chat with the planner or the coordinator that day and just, you know, talk about weddings in general and have a good time. And how's your weekend? You got other events coming up? Like, how was the couple? Like, really, you know, be real. And that's another tip I have to give you, is don't be fake, because people see right through it. Just have fun with it. It's a chaotic, stressful time, and you should understand that, and everyone around you will understand that, and just have fun with it. Now, even if the person is a little unprofessional and they're not great at their job, or the opposite, they're killers and you're like, I'm never going to get on your level. We're all people. Like we're all humans, and we all love to talk, and we're social creatures. And so do that. Like, talk to these people. And on top of that, talk to your brides, talk to your grooms. I'm very lucky that over the past 5 years that I've been doing this, I mean, I learned a lot. And so I grew as a photographer. And like, to be honest with you guys, I'm not that bad at what I do. Like, I'm pretty okay. And from there, that's like, okay, cool. I can still improve my work, but I have enough of a foundation where I can start making some money. And so where do I go from here? You know, I already have some connections, but where do I go? It's just working. It just takes time. And that's another tip, is you would not learn this industry in a day or a week or even a year. Like, you really have to go through your paces and put in the time and learn, and you will learn so much. But then from there, you start seeing, okay, what equipment do I need to upgrade? What other services should I offer? Like, I started offering videography for my company for couples that want video, you know, but don't really know a videographer. Well, I offer it in-house. On top of that, I started offering, you know, film photography, because I was like, you know what, let me just shoot some film and see how it goes. And the photos turned out phenomenal. And so now I offer film photography as well. Like, I offer variety. I'm starting a photo booth company. Like, find different ways to make money and then just commit. And look, this video is not going to be for everybody. You know, depending on where you live, if you're living in, you know, the middle of nowhere, then you might not get as many weddings. And you got to understand that too. It's based on the demographic that you're around. It's based on the location. New York City, California, Texas, especially Dallas, gets a lot of weddings, a lot of freaking weddings. There's a wedding culture here, but there's not anywhere else. And so understand that it does matter where you live. Like, where you are, the culture is different. But on top of that, you know, once you're established, I mean, you're there. I mean, I'm only getting more and more inquiries as time increases, but that's because I'm in a good spot. And so location, it does matter. And, you know, outside of location, just talk to everybody, be nice to people, and be as professional and as courteous as possible. You know, like, for example, this is what I wear on wedding day. I wear a black suit, you know, black shirt, black slacks, black Chelsea boots. Like, I think it's very unprofessional when photographers wear shorts or t-shirts, or, you know, even like sometimes polos. Like, we're guests. We're essentially guests at the wedding. So look good, and you will feel good, and you will act good. I mean, really consider everything about you. What is the most efficient way to go about wedding day, and make your own little planning sheet, or even stuff like, did you bring snacks? Are you prepared for food and energy? And like, how are you feeling? Are you sleeping well the day before? Like, once you get into the groove of things, it's not a hard environment. I mean, I can shoot a wedding with my eyes closed. Like, it's so easy, but it opened up a career path that I don't have to work a 9 to 5. I don't have to work 5 days out of the week. I work once a weekend, maybe twice, and then the rest of the week I can just chill at home. Yeah, I have to edit, and so that comes to in like knowing an editing style and like really getting efficient with culling and editing. But like, I mean, I've got it down. Like, this is, from now, it's just easy cruising. It's an easy life, and I've been very, very fortunate to do so, to have this experience and have this opportunity. And that's, you know, above all else, like, appreciate what you do. If you do get the opportunity to turn into a full-time wedding photographer, like, understand that you're very lucky to do so, because not that many people get this chance. So be grateful. Everyone around you is grateful, especially on wedding days. People are just happy to get married. So just enjoy it and have fun, guys. And I mean, that's it. I'm not going to keep you guys here for long. Just take the opportunities where you can get it. Build your portfolio. Work hard. You know, consider, sometimes you gotta put in the time, and if you don't make as much money, you will in the future if you put in the time, I promise you. And that's it for the video, guys. I'm gonna leave you guys there. If you guys have any other questions, absolutely feel free to comment. If you guys are wedding photographers out there, same thing. If you guys have your own successful businesses and you say, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's saying, or no, actually he's got some tips, but here's some other ones, here's some other advice I could give, absolutely put them in the comment section. You know, let other people learn from your experiences as well. Let me know what you think about this video. Is it accurate? How do you feel? And most of all, if you have any questions, absolutely put them in the comments and I would love to answer them. And that's it. That's all with the video. More photography coming out as well. We got a video on this amazing Contact 645 that is phenomenal. You saw some photos throughout the video as well that we will be making a review out of, but a bunch of stuff coming on. If you guys want to like the video, go for it. You don't need to, but I always appreciate it. And if you feel you want to subscribe, then subscribe. I would love to show my mom that people actually watch this crap, and so feel free to click that button. Outside of that, have a good rest of your day. Again, my name is Jose. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time.